once you see with your own eyes that you've been leaving
Mm-hmm.
the money on the table, it's like okay,
Yeah.
like this is no longer optional.
Welcome to the Indie Build. My next guest is someone who didn't just build a music career, he built a system around it. Jake Fine is a guitarist, producer, and songwriter out of LA. He grew up in a musical family, switched high schools just to get into the jazz program, and went to Berkeley. After school, he moved to New York, bartended, taught Wall Street kids how to play ukulele, whatever it took to stay close to music while he figured out how to make it real. And soon enough, he packed up and moved to LA. He built 2 lo-fi projects into a catalog of over 230 songs and has been fully self-sustaining off music for 6 years. Now growing into the next phase, executive producing albums, working with artists, and building infrastructure that lets the work keep paying long after it's made. This is Jake Fine. When you're getting into music, or whether you're studying, learning, how did money play a role in it? Like, was that a part of your decision? Like, how am I going to make money from this? Or
It's a huge part of it. Especially, this phase in the early to mid 20s where I was aware that people make money in music, but initially it's like a hidden thing. You're like, okay, this is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, but I'm not seeing any of it in my bank account, right? And you have to go and find a bunch of ways. I mean, I bartended, I bar backed, I taught rich kids ukulele, like Wall Street kids ukulele. Nice. In like just doing whatever and playing gigs with my band in New York on the weekends. And I think finding that Venn diagram for me, where there's something that you feel like, I like this, I could do this 100 times, I could do this 200 times, but also this is something that I can sustain myself with. I mean, because if you want a long career, you have to find things that are both, or else something's gonna tank. Like, oh great, I'm making money, but I hate all the projects I'm working on. Or I love all the projects I'm working on, but I can't pay my rent, or I can't pay for a good studio. Oh, it's like that. Well, then how am I supposed to grow? So money's always on the mind, but hopefully it overlaps with the things you feel like passionate about, ideally.
How do you deal with the inconsistencies of it? Like the nature of like the music business, you might get a fat check here, small check here. How do you deal with that, like mentally?
Not well. It's like, I feel like, for example, like often you don't know until the end of the month or the end of the quarter what your royalties are or what your publishing right is. I have a couple different thoughts at the same time, which is like, number one, a watched pot never boils. So like, just let it, let the work now come to you, right? On the other hand, I try not to resist the fact that like, at the end of every month, am I going to check 40 times? Am I going to check 50 times to see like, what did I make this month? Am I okay? Am I, I don't resist that. It's like, I'll pop in every morning and go and check at the end of the quarter what my publishing is. And I think that's okay, because it's like, you've put in a lot of work and it's important. But that tension as like self-employed, I feel like it translates to anyone that is their own boss. You just like carry around that anxiety.
Yeah.
It's 100%. Just part of it. But also no one tells you what to do. So it's pretty dope.
So I feel like there's a spectrum of artists or musicians where it's kind of like on one side, they're just purely for the passion, making the art, making the music, and they kind of don't really care about the business side of it at all. And then on the other hand, there might be people who are just very, very dialed in on the business, and they kind of put that foot forward before the music sometimes. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I don't feel like I necessarily fall dramatically in one category or the other, but I kind of think of it like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you know about that, where it's like,
enlighten me.
It's a hierarchy of things that you need to like address before, so like at the bottom, it's like, I simply need to cover my food and rent and the things that give me like life and food in the belly and food on the table, whatever. But I see it as like, as you are addressing those things, you get closer to that top of the pyramid, which is like self-actualization. So basically like, I think you kind of have to earn yourself the privilege to work on absolutely whatever you want, right? If you get to a place where you're like a Jack Antonoff or something, right? He can probably sit there and just be like, I can now work on whatever projects I have because I've done XYZ. There's food on the table. There's good public opinion. So I feel like I am ambitious in that I want food on the table. I want myself, and the people in my life taken care of in that way on the business side of things. But I want that to earn me the privilege to get to the top of the pyramid where I'm doing whatever I want.
When did publishing even enter your world? Because like I said, for me, I missed out on a lot because that's just something, you might not think about, especially lo-fi. Like a lot of people get into lo-fi thinking it's just like, all right, we're going to put up our songs on Spotify, maybe land a playlist, and we're just going to start getting some DistroKid checks or whatever. Yeah.
I was aware that publishing was like an arm of income, just like having a PRO and stuff. And so I was like dabbling with registering songs and stuff like that. But I do think it became more important when the catalog grew to a certain size, where it's like you said, you're like, oh wait, if I'm not comprehensively registering a lot of these, even if some of them are just making $1 or $2, but if you have like hundreds, I think my catalog is like 230 now. And then of course there's the songs I'm producing for artists as well. So if you're not comprehensive, like you said, it's like, okay, now I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Exactly.
Like it would be actually really stupid to not do that. You're gonna like not do that and then go stress about money. It's like you're leaving all this stuff on the table.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, I don't think I was quite meticulous enough, but it's nice to have a team that kind of lends their strength to your weaknesses. But now it's once you see with your own eyes that you've been leaving money on the table, it's like like this is no longer optional. Like this is something 100%, I gotta do.
Yeah. This is like release checklist. Just do it right away.
Yeah. This is a thing that has to be factored in.
So like, let's talk about how, when you're in sessions with like artists and stuff, how do you typically handle splits and stuff like that, especially when it comes to publishing? I know it can be a little like, kind of sensitive topic a little, like you just created this beautiful music. Now it's like, here's a document, like where are we at?
Yeah, especially when it comes to, the royalty conversation with splits are one thing, but publishing is almost like more sensitive because it's not about how much work you put in, it's like how much creative input. It's like a weird, it's like, it's nebulous, it's like no one can really touch it. For lo-fi, there's pretty much a convention that it's even splits, right, between the collaborators. A couple times I've seen artists that put a lot more work and be like, wait a second here. Like this just isn't even, which is totally reasonable when it happens. So on the lo-fi side of things, it's very simple. It's like, okay, we're all doing this evenly. On the producing artist side of things, it is a lot more complicated. I feel I'm in the position where I'm a fully fledged producer songwriter, where a lot of these artists are bringing in just maybe a verse idea, maybe to me, and I'm helping them write the entire rest of the song. So because of that, more times than not, it's pretty evenly split. It's not a contentious conversation. There are times where they've written in the most of the song in another session, and then they bring it to me just kind of like maybe slightly adjust or slightly elevate, like to say, oh, I feel like we can beat the last lyric in the chorus, let's think of something else. In that sense, it's more complicated. And I will say in my specific situation, I'm pretty insulated from that, in that I don't want to be having those conversations with the artist. And I think when you are in a situation where that conversation is being had more and more, then having a team that can insulate you Those conversations can be contentious. It's like you go to the artist, be like, and they're like, well, how many lyrics did what was your creative? And then you're like, well, what was you wouldn't have this song with, like, no one should be having those conversations with an artist where now you're pointing fingers. Like the relationship with the artist should be, in a way, kept sacred, if possible. Now, if you're in the position where you don't have a team, then obviously you should advocate for yourself. I would never say someone shouldn't advocate for yourself. However, if you're working with artists like 4 or 5 days a week in sessions, you can't be ending sessions being like, by the way, like, what's my percent on it? It's not feasible. And in that situation, it's great to have that sort of insulation where my manager contacts their manager or label and now, when the song goes to release, they're discussing it. And maybe my manager just pings me and is like, by the way, did you fully write this with this person or did they bring it to you like mostly fully written? And I just give them a sense of that. So does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, okay. 100%. Yeah. From what I heard, you already have some infrastructure in place, at least for the lo-fi side with Downtown. When did you first realize you needed like a global publishing admin, and specifically what led you to KOSIGN?
Yeah, so my team has a relationship with Cobalt, which KOSIGN is, housed under, and we were familiar with their network and we knew how effective it was. And that's pretty much what led to it. So as soon as we knew through Cobalt and some of the people we're connected with there that KOSIGN was going to be a thing, we knew that it would be effective because they're effective. And I think it was also kind of like I was talking about earlier. Initially I didn't have a manager and I did things in a kind of messy, non-meticulous way. So it was a great opportunity for, now that there is a little bit more of a system in place, it was a great opportunity to get it organized and housed under a single roof. And that's under a roof of a company that's known for collecting globally well. And so I think that's why it made sense and that's why it occurred to us.
So when you joined, like, was there anything that surprised you, like any like chunks of money from odd source or anything like that?
Yeah, something recently that started collecting well via KOSIGN that I actually never thought would benefit me. I won't say I never thought it would benefit me. I just I didn't know it was actually going to start collecting. Was the artist Russ? Yeah, through a TikTok post of mine, Russ licensed like a guitar part for a song of his called Waves.
Oh, fine.
That was like before I was able to sustain myself income wise. And so what's super great and kind of funny is now, like 5 years later, it goes through KOSIGN, the publishing has started to come in on it. And so watching that every quarter is super cool because it's like, that was 5 years ago. Me is like patting me on the back, being like, yeah, I'm gonna make you some extra cash now.
That's fire.
So that's been cool to see. Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self or an upcoming artist about protecting their work and making sure that they get paid?
I think it kind of follows the same line of how music production is more accessible than it ever has been. You know how it used to be you needed like $1 million studio, you needed access and you needed the label's funding, and now you can have a DAW with like you don't even need a little keyboard. You can use your laptop keyboard, right? I feel like it falls under the same sort of principle, which is in terms of protecting what you're working on now and for the foreseeable future, it's right there. It's like literally on the internet and it's accessible. So go set it up and go get it because it's doable, it's possible, it's on the internet, and it's not like behind these barriers of these impossible to reach companies and stuff. There are tools to collect and you can just go and get that money. So, yeah. Facts.
Yeah. Hella insightful, bro. Well, man, thanks for sitting down and having this conversation. It's been great.
Yeah, great hanging, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. What I want you to take away from Jake is this. He didn't stumble into sustainability, he engineered it. He thought about his career like Maslow's hierarchy. Cover your needs first, build the system, then earn the freedom to work on whatever you want. Over 230 songs deep, catalog fully registered and collecting from every angle. And when a guitar part he posted on TikTok years ago started generating publishing through KOSIGN long after he'd moved on, that's exactly what the system is supposed to do. In an industry that makes it as hard as possible to get paid, infrastructure isn't optional. It's everything. I'm L.Dre, that's the Indie Build. We'll see you next time.